So the dog can only sweat through its tongue, right? Sorry, that was a little loud. And the dog, can sweat through its tongue, so it's okay. It doesn't feel the heat too badly. But I want you to park that in your mind. I want you to park it in your mind. I want you to think about the dog in the heat of this rural county. As it comes up later in the story, this is a shaggy dog, right? So shaggy dogs, have like shaggy fur, and so that can be a problem. It isn't at this point in the story, is my point. Okay, so the dog is in the car. They got an old car, it's like a truck that they use for the farm, and they load the kid and the dog and treats for the dog and the baby, and the whole family goes. It's a big family event. It's a really big deal in the life of this kid. This is why that's so moving to me. When other people tell this story, sometimes they leave out the part where the kid is really a big deal and entranced and loving it, And I don't want you to get that impression. When I tell the story, I want you to understand that the kid is a real flesh and blood kid, even though we're not giving him a name, and we're not going to name the places. It's a little more parable. It's more of a parable. It's like a terrible parable. But it's a fable, kind of a parable and a fable combined. With a moral to the story, probably not. There's no real moral here. I don't want to give you that impression that there's going to be some sort of moral kind of objectification here. But anyway, it's an important story, and the kid is the important part of the story, but of course the story is about the dog. So the dog is shaggy and is not overheated at this point in the car, is on his way with the family to the other county.
Finally, I got my own computer. I was so psyched to explore a whole new world. I just don't feel normal. My friends are nice, but they just don't get me.
I feel like such a weirdo!
Where do you go to be understood? I found this online show. I can call in. I can express myself. Be on TV. Weirdos TV. Weirdos.com. Sometimes a stranger can be your best friend.
We had a problem there. I had to go to commercial. I hope you didn't mind. But we're on Weirdos TV. So anyway, the dog does very well in the next county. They do very well. The kid, the dog, they're a hit. They're a hit. It goes really well for them. They're in heaven. They've won another contest, and this time it wasn't, like a default. Like the kid won fair and square. I mean, I grant you, this is still a local kind of a county thing. So I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, the kid is acing it every time. Right? It's in this case, the kid has easily won, but it's not. It wasn't a real contest, but it also was. At least there was some competition. The other dogs were a little bit shaggy, but not as shaggy as the kid's dog. So the kid's thrilled. I'm not giving the dog a name, by the way. So, right? If I'm not going to give the dog a name, I shouldn't give the kid a name. So the kid, the dog, the family, they're all on the way back home to the farm, and they're just in heaven. They're just so happy. I mean, my God, wouldn't you be? It's really great. It's great for a kid and his family. and they can feel like they're really having an impact in the world, and people, they might leave something behind them to be remembered, But the kid, of course, still has his sights on growing up and becoming the most famous owner of a Shaggy dog. He's really thinking how great that's going to be. So, I want to... we're just setting up a different kind of mood here. This is when the story gets kind of serious. Kids shouldn't really get into show business at such a young age, and I know you might not consider dog... You might not consider dog contests to be show business, but I do, and I think you should. I mean, I would argue that any kind of a contest or public type of activity like that it's a big deal. It's show business, and you're up in front of people, and so I think you want to keep that in mind. This is the real thing for a kid like that. And it's going well for him at this point, and the dog is having a great time too. Kid's bonding with his family. It's wonderful, right? But you never know how these things can go. Things can change. Things can suddenly go south, and I don't want to... No spoilers. I don't want to give away the ending, because obviously that would spoil... I mean, I'm setting up this whole story, right? So the last thing I want to do is spoil the ending for you before we get there. That would suck. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not spoiling the ending here. I'm not going to give it away. But I'm just saying, contests, show business, children, they don't really mix. So don't do it. Don't do it, folks. This is a fictional story about a fictional kid and his fictional Shaggy dog. And so it's not the same as a real child who you might, doing a beauty contest, like one of those child, princess, like beauty contests. These things, you gotta be careful with these kids. They're precious, you know what I mean? I think they're precious. So, this kid, however, is doing fine, and he's won the contest. And I'll skip ahead. I'll make a long story short. To put it bluntly, to reduce it to the sort of Reader's Digest kind of summary, kind of outline, if I were a writer and I just wanted to give you the basics, the kid continues to win contests, and that's just the basics. I mean, I could tell you, I could enumerate the contests, I could give you the details of each and every one of those contests. I mean, I know them. I know this stuff, okay? I know you guys never even heard of this Shaggy Dog Story, probably. This might even be news to you that there is, in fact, something called The Shaggy Dog Story. You can look it up on the internet. I'm not making this up. It's famous. It's been told all over the world for years and years. People tell it at parties. People are, they sit in rapt attention when a good storyteller pulls out the Shaggy Dog Story. I mean, it could be amazing. It could be a life-altering experience. I don't want you to think that I'm going to, ruin it for you, because other people can tell it just as well or better than I. But my version of the Shaggy Dog Story is distilled from thousands of versions that I've studied, and I've researched it. I've researched the Shaggy and the dog and the boy and everything. So I mean, I know all the details. I could tell you every contest that they entered, where the contests were, what day of the week they were on. I could even tell you the weather. I could tell you what the weather was in the county or state, wherever the contest might have been. It doesn't matter. It could have been in a rural community, or the contest might have been, in a big city, because eventually that's what happened, right? The kid made it to not the big time. I don't want to give you the idea that we're talking about a kid who got famous big time. but a bit, like he achieved a certain amount of notoriety. And again, for a kid, that can be a very big deal. And so the kid is pretty thrilled about it. And he's a kid, so it's a big deal in his life. So, and now he's traveled, which is another thing, right? It's a big deal for a kid to travel like that. So he does. He travels. He wins contest after contest. He's knocking them out. You know what I mean? He's got a freaking career going. It's pretty impressive. I mean, I found it impressive. To me, it's like something I would hope could happen to me. I always wanted to be famous. I don't know if you know this about me. I have a thing for kind of fame and that sort of stuff. I dream of being famous. And if I was really famous, I would have something to say to the world, It's not just a matter of, fame and fortune, I could say stuff, I could tell the world, I could make the world a better place, probably. I don't want to guarantee it. Not everybody can do that. I could try is my point. So if I tried to, I could be like the kid. The kid didn't have these kinds of ambitions, you understand? I don't want to make you think this is a story about a person like me. This is not me. This is about some other person. Another person entirely. So the kid, this other person, is winning contests left and right. And he hears about a rich guy. We're almost at the end of the story. Can you believe it? This is where it gets good. And he hears that the rich guy is going to give $1 billion with a B. Billion with a B like a boy, right? The boy, the dog, $1 billion, be like boy. So he needs to take the dog halfway around the world to get the $1 billion. For the shaggiest dog ever, I don't know, the billionaire's got a thing for shaggy dogs. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I just know it's true. The dog, the shaggy dog, is beloved by a billionaire, multi-billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire. Really love shaggy dogs. I don't know, go figure. Stop from me. I don't have to explain this to you. If you don't understand why a billionaire might love shaggy dogs, I'm not going to clue you in. You're just going to have to take that for granted. You're going to have to take it for granted. Okay? The billionaire loves shaggy dogs. So the kid travels halfway across the globe with the dog. And this time the dog is not enjoying it. You remember I warned you, I did some foreshadowing about how the dog could overheat? What's happening? What's happening in this part of the story? This is the weepy part. This is the part that makes me cry. The dog's uncomfortable. The dog's not happy. There is a dog being harmed in the making of this story, but I didn't harm the dog, so you can't blame me. And you can't tell me not to tell the story because there was a dog that got harmed. It's not my fault. This is the way the story is. The dog wasn't actually killed or even, ill, but it really was unhappy. The dog was very unhappy. It was a male dog, but I'm just going to refer to it as it. So, hold on, I just got to check something. Yeah, we're good. I want to make sure we, have room on the tape. I mean, it's not an actual tape, of course. We just refer to it as a tape, but still, it's kind of a thing we say in broadcasting. It's a tape, It's not a tape. So anyway, there's plenty of time on the tape. I'm not running out of time. And we're almost out of story, so it's going to be fine. We should have this story all wrapped up long before the episode is over. So, I'm telling the Shaggy Dog Story, which is a great story. You know it? Oh, you know it. You're listening to it. I forgot. I got distracted and confused. It's funny, right? So the kid and the dog, they're traveling. The dog's unhappy. The kid's unhappy too. Because he doesn't want to give the dog away. He loves this dog. But $1 billion, right? $1 billion for a boy. This could secure his career. He could buy a fleet, a cadre of Shaggy Dogs, you know. And he could have these dogs trained, and he could have like a Shaggy Dog circuit. And that would be pretty cool too. Because $1 billion, I mean, I would agree with him, you know. But he's sad. You can understand. He's sad, and the dog is sad and overheated. The family's not with him at this point, you know, because they grow tired of this stuff. You know, day after day, the dog contest. They're tired of it. They're not into it anymore. So they didn't come on this one. I don't know. Why would you? It doesn't want to. Wow, that's. I've never seen that happen before. So they get to their destination. The dog, the kid, the dog, the kid, the whole entourage. I mean, he's got servants, not servants. I mean, you know, aides, people who work for him, and they help him get where he's going, and he gets to the door. This is the climax. You don't want to miss this part. If you haven't been paying attention, like maybe you stopped paying attention at some point recently, you really want to perk up. This is it. This is where the story comes together. This is where all the factors of the story come together, and things get really good. So this is my favorite part too. He's also the part. So the dog, the kid, they show up at the door of the billionaire. Obviously, it's a fancy door. You can imagine. You can imagine the kid's a little overwhelmed. He's never been to a billionaire's house, right? not even close. And he knocks on the door of the billionaire. Knock, knock, knock. 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 He says. He didn't say that. I mean, he knocks. I'm like reading the stage directions.
Follow the yellow brick road.
It's true. Aha! Aha!
Follow the yellow brick road.
It's true. Aha! Aha! And he knocked on the door. Oh, really? How did that happen? Oh, aha! I certainly won't. So he's knocking on the door.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
He knocked on the door, and
a strange journey.
Yes, he had a strange journey to get there, and the butler answers the door. Of course, it's a rich guy, right? And so he says to the butler, he says, "I'm the kid. he says his name, of course. I didn't give him a name. So just the boy, the kid. He says his name. He introduces himself to the butler. The kid is not sophisticated. The butler is very educated, cultured, high class. High class, you know. I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm not trying to make fun of the butler and rich people, although I often do.
I want to hear Eminem without me.
But this butler is for real. I mean, this is a really sophisticated, kind of smart guy. And he looks the kid over. He's thinking, yeah, this kid's a rube, you know. He could scam the kid, he could con the kid. Anything is possible at this point. But he doesn't. He invites the kid in. And you can see that there's something, he knows there's something wrong. But I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give away the ending of the story. No spoilers! No spoilers! We're almost there, though. We're getting so close to the ending. You're going to love this ending, by the way. This is what makes the story of the Shaggy Dog so wonderful, is the ending. I mean, people come from all over the world to hear, see, think about, talk about the ending of the Shaggy Dog Story. So, here's how it ends. The kid, the dog, they're waiting in the foyer of the billionaire's mansion, you know, a huge complex. Kid's never seen a mansion like this, let alone go inside. So the kid is just, you know, out of his mind. The dog is just freaking out and not behaving well. And, you know, the dog like pees in the corner. It's getting bad. The dog was, you know, waiting to get here. It was overheated, as you recall. The aides for the kid had to wait outside. They weren't allowed in. So the whole situation has gotten a little tense. And the kid knows this is going south. And the kid could tell that the butler knew something was wrong. So the whole thing is not going well, and the kid knows it. And he's getting nervous. But he thinks, the thing is, he says to himself, the point here is that the dog is Shaggy. And I've won contests with the Shaggy Dog. And so I'll win another contest. This is the contest I'll be winning with the Shaggy Dog. And oh shit! I don't want to fuck up the story, man. Jesus. It's getting bad, right? The kid's nervous. He's freaking out. The dog's freaking out. And the billionaire's coming. He's coming down the hall right now. The kid's so terrified. The kid's terrified. And the billionaire enters the room. He's not actually like, upper class, like nut. He's a pretty regular guy, this billionaire. So he's not gonna give the kid a hard time. But he's also not gonna, put up with any bullshit. No bullshit! And he comes in and he takes one look at the dog. And he says, he says, that dog isn't very shaggy. And he was right. The dog really wasn't that shaggy. Great story, don't you think? Don't you think that's a great story? I mean, really, just one of the great stories of all times. So that's really all I can do for you tonight. I'm gonna finish off if I can. Oh, that's not even. Yeah, this one. We can do something else.